Welcome, wonderful people of the internet. This is the Lazy Piece of Shit podcast. Here, we like to talk about all the awkward and uncomfortable things you might be thinking but are too embarrassed to say. My name is Dan, and I am cordially inviting you to witness me making a fool of myself with each week's new episode. But for now, get comfortable, grab a drink, and let's get into it. I was just going to let out a very exasperated breath, but I just didn't really know how that would sound on the podcast after the day at work we had today. So yeah, here we go. Welcome back. It's Friday to the Lazy Piece of Shit podcast. Happy to have you all here. I have another wonderful guest that's joining me. One of my...
Somebody else here?
Yeah, someone... Well, yeah, true. You're not very wonderful, but I guess you're just dragged on here, been blackmailed. So I will let her introduce herself really quick.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I've been Dan's boss and friend for roughly 15 years or so.
If you do the math on that.
I know, it makes me feel old and makes me feel that like way older than you for some reason. Like, oh, I've known you since you were like a teenager. I'm
literally
like,
17, 18.
Oh my goodness, that makes me feel older than I am.
Yeah, so I asked the wonderful Lindsay to be on the podcast today because Rita's camping and, well, let's just face it, after last week.
Second best.
What
Love it.
yeah, you know.
Love it.
Just kidding. Well, with Ontario opening back up, I thought maybe we could have a little conversation of, you know, Kevin's, Karen's, and maybe just give people a little bit of a what not to do now that we can go back out into public, and just from a different perspective, from a service side, from us being in retail, going out to patios, that kind of stuff. Just talk about that for a little bit, and then obviously we're going to talk about our most amazing job ever, which was Blockbuster, and how it just can't even compete with any of the jobs we've had. And as I said, it's
how could it?
Yeah, literally. It wasn't like it was a good job, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had it pretty decent because your kids were a little younger, so you got off a little earlier. But I mean, we were open 10 a.m. to midnight every day. Every day.
365.
Every day I worked. Who needs movies on Christmas? Who knows? Yeah, well, we had
Apparently.
lots of we had lots of gifts and stuff too, right? So people, I usually worked Christmas because I was younger, I didn't have kids, and I would open my presents with the fam and then just head on over. And, you know, it was nice because it was kind of slow, but you'd have people come and be like, oh, I need a last minute gift. But we'll get into all that. First things first, we've had a day, we worked together today, and it was just one of those days where everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. We had to do a pin pad reset, and they sent these people into our work, and they had no idea what they were doing, and they're asking us, and I look at Lindsay, and I'm like, thank God this mask's on, because my face is just being like, what
you need an eye mask.
I need to wear sunglasses and a mask at all times, because I'm just like, you came into our store to do something that we have I have no idea about.
I'm not a tech. I'm not
IT.
I don't know anything about IPs and stuff like this, and where would I even get the information from to give to you?
It's like we're a multi-million-dollar company. We
Slow
have
blink.
an IT department, and I'm just like,
slow blink.
Okay, sir. And then he leaves and doesn't even give us all the information.
That was the best part. Yeah, I'm going to call into your tech support at the end and ask for the information you were supposed to leave.
So just today, customers were busy. Lots of big ticket items sold. We do cell phones, all that kind of fun stuff. So it was just kind of like, we finished the day, and I was like, do you still want to come and record? And she's like, yes, like I need a drink. Like, yeah, absolutely.
That last customer knocking at 6:03.
Oh yeah, like, oh,
nope.
You're not gonna help me? No, sir, we close at 6. Go away.
Yep, that 3 minutes is my minutes.
So yes, I did let Lindsay choose the beverage today because I know she's not a huge beer fan. So do you want to introduce this? This is your choice.
Yeah, so this is mine and my husband's newest favorite. It's Blue Lobster's the vodka soda in the sour cherry lime flavor.
Okay.
I love it. To me, it tastes like the cherry blasters.
Cherry blasters. Okay.
With booze, so it's super good, and awesome. I really enjoy it.
So let's get these open because we've definitely earned it today.
Sorry, it's not as cold as it should be, but
that's fine. I'll drink anything at this point. Oh yeah.
Isn't it so good?
That's pretty good.
Yep. If you like cherry blasters, it tastes just like that.
Yeah, actually,
and
it's not
out
bad.
of the can, and it's
not terrible. 175 calories for a big one, and
it's got that 2 grams of protein. So I mean,
watch
right there,
out, right? That's what we're protein. we're stacking.
It's how I convince myself that it's okay.
It's not bad. I don't think I could like consistently drink a lot of them in a row.
No, it's not like a get drunk on them type of thing. But to me, in my opinion, like it's like a Caesar. You know what I mean? Like a Caesar, you have one or two, and then you switch it to something
maybe
else.
Mix it in when you're getting a little, sick of it. Okay, awesome, delicious. I'll have to check out where these guys are from, and I'll post it and see. Do you know if they're local or?
I think the Nova Scotia on the side there indicates that where they're from. I'm not a doctor, but I can read, so I assume that.
I'm just happy this was good because if it wasn't, then you'd never be able to loud back on. Yeah, Nova Scotia, perfect. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so Canadian. So
East Coast. Oh yeah, I just see that now. Yeah, all natural, gluten free, served cold. Well, apparently you can't read. So.
Well, the liquor store only had the lemon lime one in the freezer.
I made
and
you
I'm
buy
not
them.
a fan.
I made you buy these too. Terrible. Like usually I have to provide this for you because you're doing me a favor.
It's okay. You came in for me tomorrow, and
true. Exactly.
We'll call it square.
All right, so that is our beverage shout out for the week. A little Nova Scotia brew here. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It was a sour. Yeah, that's Sour Blaster is
the Cherry Blaster. Yeah, it tastes just like that. And I love it.
Awesome. All right, so let's go with some random thoughts today. Do you got anything on your mind besides customers being absolutely ridiculous, which we'll talk about later?
No, I've been watching a lot of Criminal Minds lately. It's lockdown really was one of those let's binge something that's got a lot of seasons.
Yes.
And since I can't watch Outlander at work anymore, if you can watch Outlander at work in the first place. But yeah, I've been burning through that because I really like it, and I had to give up on Grey's Anatomy.
Yes,
because
you gave up on Grey's?
Well, my favorite character died, so I had no interest in watching it anymore. So I was just over it, and I don't need to watch any more of it.
Who was your favorite character?
Mark Sloan.
Oh,
so RIP and bye.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, sorry, it's also been out for about 15 years.
Yeah, right. So I gave up on that, and I've been just binge watching Criminal Minds just because I like shows where if you miss an episode or if you're not paying 100% attention, you can kind of
catch back up. It's not crazy.
Yeah. So I've been digging on that lately, and we watched the new Conjuring, the Devil Made Me Do It, and it held up really well in comparison to the other two, so I dug those.
Yeah, so you and your daughter Shelby, who will be coming on at some point to talk about her tattoo journey. You guys love. Well, Aaron doesn't love the horror.
Aaron does, yeah. Aaron likes them more of the modern day sort of horror, and he does like some of the slasher, like Halloween and
yes, because you guys are very into
very
you go to the con. You're the first person I think I knew who, well, besides Isaac, but I love Isaac, but he went to some different ones. But you guys, you and your daughter have been going to cons. You drive down to Texas every year.
Yeah, actually, it was stuff. Aaron who works with us. She took me to my very first con, and I got hooked after that. Like I can't. That's what I'm missing the most out of everything. Like people are like, oh, I'm missing concerts and movies, the theater. I'm missing going to these cons. And like you guys were talking about last week, you and Rita, I thought was really great was when you find your group of people and you can be nerd out. You never feel more welcome than when you're at a con and everybody there loves the same thing you love.
Yes.
So you don't feel like a loser or a nerd or anything. You just feel like everybody here likes this as much as I do. So some of them way more than you, and you're like, oh.
Yes.
I thought I was into this. Check that guy
some
out.
People,
and you're like, okay, cool. I mean, and do you? And you feel like where, maybe you thought they were a nerd, you were like, no, that's how other people are looking at you. Now you see that, this environment is great and I miss it so much. Yes. And it's a very cost-effective, very great way to meet people who, in these movies that you loved back when you were little. Yeah,
you guys are definitely in like the 80s, early 90s, 70s.
Horror movies? The movies that we like from late 70s to early 90s probably are our big ones, like the slasher films like Freddy, Jason, Halloween type of thing. Those are the great ones, and a lot of the smaller, low budget, ones that are absolute shit, but they just warm your heart, and I just love them. Aaron likes Scream, and we'll watch Scream every day if we let him. We don't let him.
I'm pretty sure that's just because there's boobs in it.
Probably, but no, there's no boobs in Scream.
Oh no,
no, he just
so surprising.
I know, right? He just thinks it's like he just loves the way it reinvented and reintroduced horror movies to that genre of people. So he just appreciates it so much and could watch it every day. Where it makes me not want to watch it ever again because it's always playing in the house.
Well, it's either that or Fast and the Furious. So
and I mean that's for a different love. That's where his love for Paul Walker, RIP.
R.I.P. Yeah.
He loves Kiss
Paul
to Heavens.
Walker.
We went to Paul Walker's grave when we went to California because
that's
he loves
a fan
Paul Walker.
Right there. That is a fan.
It's the only way he could meet him. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's amazing.
No autograph fee, but
Jesus.
Too
wow.
Soon? Too soon?
Yeah, awesome. So that's pretty good, and I definitely dig the con atmosphere. I'm excited to go, as Rita mentioned last time, and I totally forgot we were going to go and pay to see all the 100%. Hobbits. And me, you, and Aaron from work, we were all fighting like no one's going to be here to work this weekend because we're all going to be gone.
It's finding somebody to cover, because it's like when your fandoms meet up.
Yes.
That's the thing, is that you and Aaron both love Lord of the Rings. Like, it's a crazy, like, and I'm not saying that fandom because I love Lord of the Rings too.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's funny enough that when we went to the last Comic-Con, that's exactly what started me on, like, almost like to loop into what we're talking about, is that's where my fitness really, where I saw myself in pictures with Samwise Gamgee / Mikey from Goonies, which is why I met him. Sean Astin, that I didn't like the way I looked in the picture.
Yes.
And that sort of was my big thing, like, oh, I really want to meet him, and now I want to meet him again, now that I've a little
Slimmed
bit
down.
Exactly, so I can sit there and feel in the picture.
Do you want to bang him? Like, what's going on here?
Obviously.
Of course, okay. Who doesn't want to bang Samwise
Okay, you know what?
Gamgee?
Now you've ruined the surprise when I meet him.
Oh, jeez, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to
obvious.
message him and let him know what's coming.
You know what? If that's what you feel like you have to do, then do you, man.
To be honest, the camera adds 10 pounds, 50 for me.
At least.
And I literally look at pictures and I gasp sometimes. I'm like, oh my Lord. Like, me and Maddie were working out the other day and I wanted to show him just kind of where he could fix the squat a little bit. So I said, oh, I'll take a video and then we'll kind of talk after. And he's like, okay, awesome. And then I'm like, okay, well, take one for me. I just want to see. And I looked at myself and I'm just like, oh.
And I find that so bizarre, is the way that you can see yourself in a mirror.
Yeah.
And then you see yourself in a picture and you're like, who's this monster?
Up in my bathroom upstairs with those like old fluorescent light bulbs. I look great. Now these like eco-friendly ones, terrible.
Oh, or you step outside and you take a selfie, you're like, oh, who? Bleh.
I'm like, what, yo?
And I'm like, oh, I love the Goonies. Why am I sloth? Like, I don't like the monster that I've become. And I feel like that other people don't see me that way, and it has nothing to do with how I know other people see me. It's how I see myself. And that's why, like, when we talk about weight loss and stuff, I have the pounds and the number doesn't mean anything to me. It's how I look in clothing.
Yes.
So if I take a picture and I go, I don't like the way that looks, it has nothing to do with going, oh, I'm calling myself fat or whatever. No. It doesn't appeal to me physically. In my head, I don't like the way that looks.
Comfortable in your skin,
exactly.
Right? And that's exactly where I'm going to, right?
I think that's the big thing that people need to understand when it comes to losing weight. It shouldn't be about a number on a scale, because BMI to me, is something that's extremely ridiculous. Because 5'3", you should be 104 pounds to 141 pounds. I'm like,
what?
Do you understand the number gap there is?
Who did this? Because they should be attacked.
They were drunk. I can only assume that they were drunk and just throwing darts at a board, and numbers were like 104 to 139, 5'3".
Cheers,
Yeah, let's all go for spaghetti and pizza, and they just went and got fat, and they don't care.
And they're like, oh, well, all these people are going to follow this.
Because if I was 104 pounds, I'd need to be in the hospital, and you'd be like, that girl looks gross. Yeah. Exactly. So
I'm just kidding. I don't want to have physical harm to these people, but you know what I mean. They just are. It's just a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's somebody who's never struggled with weight.
Revisit the math, I think, there. So that's awesome. I like that you're calling out some good random facts there. I don't like horror movies.
You don't.
I don't like. Not that I don't like them. I get scared.
You don't also like. It's like, because the horror movie world, in my opinion, has the most branches.
Yes.
Like, there's that horror tree, and then it has the most branches out of any other genre of film.
I think so too.
And I think that you like zombies, so you go off on that branch, and you have no problem watching a million zombie movies because zombies aren't real and they don't exist or whatever. So you can't possibly be scared by those. Whereas, I love that too. I watch The Conjuring and go, I'm a little bit more scared of that because that seems like something in my head that's plausible.
Demonic possession is a real thing. I'm 110% convinced.
And I go, you know what? Guess what? The laundry room light stays on tonight because if I go down there, Samara from The Ring is going to get me.
You got to run fast.
And I'm not faster than the paranormal.
She's on all fours.
She'll get me. Exactly. 100% she'll get me. She might trip on her hair, step on the walk up the stairs, but I'm 100% dead.
Yes, no, for sure. And I agree with you. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, demonic possession, definitely agree. Yeah. Demons, they're out there, man. And
100%.
Ghosts,
and that's, ghosts can be very scary. Slashers can be very scary.
Aliens? Would aliens be under horror?
Shelby is 100% terrified of aliens.
Yes,
like
real.
Not the movie Aliens, because that's great, because that's just a monster. But like The Fourth Kind, I don't know if you've ever seen The Fourth Kind, but that terrifies Shelby.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's really good. It's a like a comparison movie where it's a true story, but I think she's in Alaska if I'm not mistaken, and it's shot and you can see the real movie and then you see the actual footage beside it sometimes.
Oh, maybe I did see that.
It's Mila Jovovich. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name terribly, but she's in it, and it's really scary. And Shelby one time watched
the one that sticks to signs. Gets me every time
because it's gross. Because the idea, because aliens exist 100%, and it's scary to think that they might come down here and bother you in any way.
But then why am I okay with Star Trek and Star Wars? Do you know what I mean? Like,
because they don't pose any threat to humans.
No, true.
They haven't. No, she destroys Eldaron, doesn't destroy Earth.
True. Yeah, we'll be safe, right?
That's fantasy. That's not real.
True.
Jabba the Hutt's not going to come down here. We got nothing he wants.
No. ladies in steel bikinis. Like,
I'm not there yet.
Jesus. Yeah. So enough talking about you, Jesus. I would just like to say and thank everyone who's been consistently listening because we have hit 200 listens over my 5 episodes that I've put out. And that's kind of just a huge milestone for me because honestly, I didn't think anybody was really going to listen, you know?
I love it.
I know. I appreciate you.
I'm so into it.
Yeah, you and Aaron and the fam, you guys, they have a boat and they kind of sit out there and listen to it. So I thank you guys so much. And I do appreciate that. We're honestly cruising towards 250 pretty quick. So hopefully this one we will tell all your friends to give it a listen and listen to us rambling on about...
Both my friends, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Jeez. Other than that, that's kind of my random thoughts for the week. Not much going on. I've been kind of bored recently. I haven't done much, everything. Oh, actually, I did go to a patio on Saturday.
Look at you,
yeah,
risque.
My roommate was out and she sent me a text at 3:00 patio, and I was like, absolutely. So I posted that on my socials, and it was very nice. It was relaxed. It was early afternoon, so it wasn't crazy busy. We got our food, got our drinks. They obviously tasted so much better because it was on a 100%. Patio, and it was awesome. So I hope everyone can kind of do that over the next couple of weeks, and obviously just remember, please be nice.
Yeah, when I see a small business patio open and full, it warms my heart, especially in our small town. When I see the small businesses that we care about, thriving again, it makes me so happy because I'm like, these businesses deserve it because they've been hit so hard during this pandemic.
And they're just like Wild Bill, love him. He needs to, if you're in the area, check him out. He made a whole beautiful patio around the back. He's having live music all summer. Beautiful. It looks really nice, and I hope he gets to keep it because I don't know what they're gonna do with that temporary patio situation, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
We're taking out of the parking lot and he's moving to the back, so maybe he's allowed to keep it there.
Other than that, let's move into our fitness updates. So I have a big kind of call out that I need to make for myself.
Let's hear this.
Do you have one?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say ladies first, but okay, I'll go first.
Again, is there somebody else here?
Whoa. So I forgot to weigh myself this week for the weigh-in, so I'm a mess there. So I'll do that tomorrow. But last summer, if you've been listening, I was the one who just hid in my basement all summer playing video games, and I refused to buy shorts because I was like, I'm not doing this. And I would wear the rolled up capris and just be super embarrassing. And all my friends were like, can you please just buy shorts? And I'm like,
it's
no.
a look.
Yeah, not a good look, but a look nonetheless. Well, this weekend when we went to the patio, I was like, all right, I'll try these on. And they fit. So shorts from last summer that I did not fit in. So that was kind of, as you said, the scale's one thing, but you need to find those victories outside of the scale. Because if you're just scale watching, you're literally going to drive yourself crazy. 100%. So I felt so great. I had an extra, beverage to celebrate, and it was fantastic. And I'm looking forward to that because now I can wear them for the rest of the summer because I'm going to continue to lose weight, and
100%.
It's going to be great. So that was kind of my big,
Well, that can be super motivating.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because you said they're going, it's a milestone. It's something as small as I did up the button on these shorts, and they weren't tight.
I'm not going to lie. They fit. Like, I wasn't like busting it or anything. They were like,
as opposed to they fit.
Like,
and you're
thank
like,
God they make those.
I didn't sit down.
Ones.
Like, no, I'll lean on the bar because you don't want to sit.
No, I could fully sit down.
It makes a big difference because I remember when I lost some of the weight before, and I always, and this is, I think a lot of people can be guilty of this, is that you keep the big pants because in case you go back to them.
Yep.
So I threw mine away.
Closet full.
I donated mine to the local thrift store because it was my commitment to myself saying, if you don't have them, you're not going to go back to them. You're not going to get comfortable and go, oh, well, I'll just put on my big pants. And that's not something I don't have them anymore. I donated them and said, these are not the pants you're going to ever wear again because, you weren't happy in those pants.
What a strong, powerful, message that it's sending. That's great. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, send it to myself because if you don't have them,
or you could burn them. I think that'd be cool too.
Right. Well,
be one pair. Right?
Well, the thing is, they were in good shape. The ones that, like as you so delicately put it a few podcasts ago, blew the crotch out. I did something very similar, and it's one of those things that I get rid of those ones, just threw them away. But I donated the ones because there's people who maybe in my head have gone through a journey and they want to size down and get rid of the good pants. And I just said, no, I'm not going to keep anything that fit then because I don't want to have that in the back of my head hanging in the closet because then that's just a crutch. It's just something like you're going to give up or you're going to fail and you're going to end up back there. And that's not what I wanted at all. So it was very much of a holding myself accountable and saying, Lindsay, throw these clothes away.
Yeah, you don't have
get rid of them.
You said you don't have that kind of that
the safety net.
That safety net, exactly right. So that's a great call out. And if you're in the same situation and you got bigger stuff hanging out in the closet, get rid of it. And,
donate it. Get rid of it because you will use it as a safety net. You will say, oh, I'll just hold on to it just in case because I'll get my period or I'll have a bloaty day or I'll eat a lot of salt. No. Get rid of it. Just throw it away and
force yourself to make that commitment to yourself.
Because
Absolutely.
it worked really, really well for me. I didn't go back, and it's not like I've lost a ton of weight, but it was enough of me that I feel better in pictures, and I'm not anywhere near my goal, but I'm getting there, and it makes me feel better. Like I was, 2020, I lost 26 pounds.
Yeah.
So I was super stoked. I was super happy. And I didn't let 2020 get me down. 2021 was a little bit of a different story that we were curbside. So we were sitting there doing nothing. We were just sitting at a table watching
Minds and eating.
Watching Outlander and just watching these people have sex on screen and be beautiful, and me going, I'm just gonna eat this fish and chips, or I'm just gonna eat this Big Mac, because I'm just sitting there and not getting, as lame as it is, my steps in on my Fitbit, or drinking enough water because you're not doing anything. So I let that get to me, and I did put on some of the weight, but I've already felt it coming back off as we've opened up, drinking way more water because it's a big one for me, and keeping with my intermittent fasting and not eating after a certain time. It was so successful for me before, and I'm going back to it, and I can feel the success coming again.
Yes. So she's being very modest. She looks fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
She lost 26 pounds, and every customer that comes in is like, oh my gosh, you look so great. And over there, like, what about me? What about me? No, I'm just kidding. But not to take away. You did fantastic.
Thank
you look beautiful. You felt, I could see it in you, not that you were ever, it gets you down, right? You get into that kind of that little, you come into work and you don't have that pep in your step. So I think the biggest thing to remember is no one anticipated this pandemic to last this long, so no one's
100%.
really doing well in 2021. Like
100%. I think it was just a little bit. It's just adjusting yourself to, like, I didn't, in my head, I brought a yoga mat into work. I was gonna work out and do these things, and I'm like, nope, I couldn't even keep the lights on in the store because it got so hot. Or you're down because it's, I'm not seeing customers, regularly. They're just coming to the door, and you got no reason to walk around. You feel crazy if you're just going to start walking around in circles like a crazy person.
No, for sure.
It just felt weird. So, but again, what was my excuse when I was at home? Nothing.
But that's the thing though, right? It takes an effect, and the effect bleeds into everything, right?
100%.
And work life is a huge thing. You go home, and I mean, like the last 2 weeks, I'll be honest to you, I have been so bad with eating out and that kind of stuff because I just can't be bothered to come home even and cook. Like,
it's hard. And I think our hours of operation can be kind of weird because it's like, especially when you're intermittent fasting, it's hard to like get up and, I'm up a little bit later now. Yes. So I want to, have a coffee and eat my breakfast before I go to work. But I'm like, then you have to eat a little bit later. So it's getting back into the timing my breakfast versus my dinner. Yes. Do I want to eat a little bit later in the day so I can eat it a little bit later at night, or do I mind eating earlier in the day and cutting myself off at night? And I think a big one with me was, well, if I just eat a handful of chips, that doesn't count. Well, it sure does, Lindsay. Yeah. Don't be so dumb. Don't be dumb. You're only tricking yourself if you don't write it down on MyFitnessPal or in my book.
Exactly.
It's like, I didn't eat that bag of chips. I didn't write it down. Look how smart I am.
Yeah, I think accountability is a huge thing, right? Because at the end of the day,
thing, I think,
you can cheat. You're going to cheat all you want if you're not going to hold yourself accountable. Like, I am the worst. I love snacking, and I've imprinted it in my mind when I'm sitting watching TV, I have to have a snack. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, that needs to stop.
It's also, why does that snack have to be chips?
Yeah. Why does it have to be a pop, 2 pepperoni sticks, and a bag of chips from Circle K? And the guy just judging me as I walk in there looking in, like, literally a car drove into Circle K a couple months now back, and like
didn't
literally
stop you.
right through the front. Yeah, right through the front. And my roommate Brand texts me. She goes, look at what happened. Or Rita texts me, look at what happened. And she's like, imagine if you were there. And I'm like, I would have just been catapulted through the air. My large body just smack it, like a cannonball just through there, right? And I'd just probably be passed out in the back being like,
pepperoni stick in hand.
Just crack it open and eat it, right? And it was just like this image of me just being catapulted through the air.
I would come in Criminal Minds style and be like, oh my God, he still had the pepperoni stick. He must have been here snacking.
Yes, exactly. We would have figured it all out. But it's just, that's my problem is snacking. And I need to, and also making the same meals. But
and this is my thing is, it's not the snacking, it's what you're snacking on.
Yes.
And I think that's my problem. Is like, you can get a snack, Lindsay, but cut up that cucumber that you bought 5 of because they were on sale and a good deal, and you yelled at your husband not to eat because they were your food. Then they went moldy, and then your husband gets mad at you because he wanted to eat it and you didn't let him. And you're like, stupid, that was my snack. And he's like, but it's moldy now. I'm like, yep. And then you throw it in the garbage, and you understand why he was fighting with you in the first place, because he could have eaten it, and because Aaron loves healthy snacks. He loves peppers. He loves, and I like them, but if you cover them in hummus or dip, something, like that. But again, if it's one of those things that dip, using it in something else, like I bought that salad dressing Leslie recommended, and it's so good.
Great. Good to hear some listeners are taking some,
so I cut up like cucumber and tomato and green onion and stuff like that, and I just mix it like a salad as opposed to mixing it with lettuce, because I know that I'm going to be hungry later with that. So I'd rather just use a whole tomato and a whole cucumber and make a whole, like, just that kind of salad. And it was really, really good, and I really enjoyed it. So I started making that at home and eating that as a snack and filling up on that, and buying, you know, popcorn with no butter on it, because I'm going to add butter anyway. So why buy the extra butter just to add more butter? So little things to make it smarter don't seem like a lot, but they definitely are. And I know, like Aaron always says, don't bring in the snacks, but I can't help it. You know?
And I think that's such a hard...
It's the moderation, right?
It's such a hard thing to do. Like, I always tell myself, oh, I'm not going to eat it anymore. And I saw a professional, and they said, that's not a good mindset, because you know you're going to have to eat out. Something's going to happen. You're going to be late for work. You're going to be running somewhere. You're going to have to eat out. You need to say, okay, instead of eating out for lunch and dinner, maybe you cut it down to, you know, dinner 2 or 3 times a week, and then, okay, dinner once a week. And that's where I need to get to. I just, again, it's just I'm just lazy. I need to, 100%. I have the time, right? Like, excuse me, I'm not, you should say, no, you're not that lazy. And,
oh, no. You're not that lazy, Dan. You're not that lazy,
Thank you.
Dan.
Oh gosh, so nice. No, but it's just one of those things where, like, I have all the time, right? I need to get off the couch. I've been ripping Below Deck. I don't know if any of you have a Hey You subscription, but
mine expired but I did burn through all of Botched.
Botched, yeah. See,
love it.
I'm on a Below Deck tear. It's like a mega yachts. I'm working on mega yachts, and I'm like, I wish I knew about this when I was growing up, because I would love to do this. It'd be
there's
so
jobs
much
out there
fun.
that if I was single and didn't have any kids, that you would sit there and go, why I would be doing that right now? Because I remember, like, you know, when we were Blockbuster and they were stores that weren't opening, and they were going to pay you to go out there. I'm like, I would have signed up for that like that if I didn't have kids and a husband.
Yeah, pay for you to move there, give you a big, you know,
More so if I didn't have kids, because I mean, a husband, they were going to fly him out. That would have been fine, you know what I mean? But I would have been like on that just for the experience, or just for the whatever. But there's so many opportunities out there that I think that, you know, you can do, but like, that's crazy. Like, that show is crazy though to me. Like,
so you have a family, obviously.
You've
talked about them quite a bit, and they're lovely people. I love them all.
Aww,
do you cook for them too, or are they old enough to kind of take care of themselves? Like, how do you sort that out?
We're pretty down the middle when it comes to that, because the hours, you know, I come home a little bit like after dinner sometimes, but I usually make dinner when we get home. But Aaron gets off a little bit early, so he likes to eat when he gets off, because, you know, at 3:30, 4 o'clock, he's hungry from being at work all day and not having lunch. And, you know, they eat lunch like 10 o'clock in the morning type of thing. So,
well, you have so many different
very different timetables.
Yes, you know,
for
all
sure.
your kids are older. They're
exactly. So my kids
jobs,
are exactly. I'm lucky enough to have my kids be older that they can fend for themselves and they can make their own food. But, you know, on my days off, or if I get home earlier or whatever, I'll make, you know, spaghetti and stuff like that, and I'll make, you know, meals for all of us. And we're blessed in my house that my husband, my daughter, and my son don't struggle with weight. And growing up, that wasn't something I did have, because I have family that you have struggled with their weight their whole lives. So, and my mom always fed us and made enough food for an army. So I understand that that's why we struggled with our weight, because, well, you don't want the food to go bad, or you don't want to. My mom always like, oh, I'm hungry. Well, maybe you weren't hungry, you were bored or whatever, but it's how it happened. And I've always, you know, come home and I make enough food for the 4 of us, and I make sure that it's just for the 4 of us. And, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, if somebody goes for, you know, a 3rd bowl of something, or second bowl, to say, are you really that hungry? Yeah. It's not mean. It's not, you know, you're making sure that they're not.
Grab a glass of water.
Exactly. Are you eating because you're bored, or are you eating because you're hungry?
I'm always bored and eating.
Right. It's literally, I think that's a big thing why people gain weight, because I'm bored. I'm just gonna start, you know, putting food in there. But
you know?
Exactly. But I think making, like, you know, it's portion control, and like, you can have spaghetti, just don't eat. Yeah. You know, put it in a smaller bowl and eat it slower. And because I worked at a factory for 7 years, and we only had a 20-minute lunch, so I would eat like crazy fast.
Well, even at
and it was
our
really
store,
100%. I think a lot of places see that when you only have half an hour to have your entire break when it comes to, you know, going to the bathroom and eating, and if you smoke or whatever, or if you have to go get your food, you are scarfing it down.
15-20 minutes to get your food, and then you got 10 minutes to eat when you get back.
Exactly. And then by the time you're done eating, you ate so quickly that maybe you were full, you know, half that portion ago, but you don't even let it register, because you've just scarfed it down to get back out on the floor and to do whatever you need to do. So I have never broken that habit of eating very quickly when I'm at home. So I've started to eat slower, and, you know, if you're full, stop eating. I know it tastes good, but stop eating and putting it back type thing. So I've, you know, smaller portions, and it's worked really well for the whole family. And, you know, my son eats, you know, because he's, you know, he's 17 and blessed with the metabolism of, you know, the gods, and he just looks great and can eat whatever he wants. And how often he wants, and it doesn't matter, and he, you know, looks amazing, comes up with a 6-pack abs, like, oh, what's to eat?
Yeah.
Half a, you know, package of bagel bites dripping in butter and Parmesan. I just look at him and, you know, kind of want to throw them at him and be like, how's that feel? Hot? Good.
Yeah.
Good. And then just eat one and just, you know, gain 6 pounds. So.
No, for sure. And that's the big struggle, right? Especially when you have a family and trying to cook for them and trying to sort out your meal prep. Like, honestly, I have such a problem with just me. So I was like, oh, like,
it's hard. You know? It's hard to separate the meals, like eat a healthy meal for me and then cook for 3 other people who aren't maybe on the same journey as me. And my husband is very, very good with that, because he'll say, I'll eat the healthy stuff with you and I'll do that. And I don't, in my head, go, well, why should he have to suffer when he doesn't need to lose weight, because he looks great?
Yeah.
It's, you know,
it's just the dippity do we got to work on.
Right. 100%. Well, he's got his beach hat on now. He's captain hat for the boat, right?
Love that.
So it's just one of those things that I have to get in mind. They can eat healthy too. And if they want to eat something else, then my kids are old enough to go, if you don't want what I'm cooking that's healthy and still tastes good, then make yourself something, because I'm not interested in cooking for your 2 meals anymore, because they're not little and they, you know, don't want my baked Brussels sprouts or whatever. They can make whatever they want. Go ahead, make your own food. I don't care.
No, absolutely. And that's a great idea. So yeah, that's awesome. And how has things gone? Like, are you kind of back to a routine now, or, you know, we just reopened, so things obviously have changed substantially at work. So are you like, how's your week been? Have you been okay?
I've been, honestly, like, getting back to work has made me feel better about my diet and my everything, because I can, you know, I'm walking around work and I'm making a point to, and I know that people mock Fitbit, because I'm one of those people who go, oh, they're counting the steps you were already taking. But no, they don't, because, for example, you know, you have to hit 250. If I get that buzz and I'm at 110 of 250 at 10 minutes to, I walk around my store to get those extra steps. So those are steps I wouldn't have been taking had I not had
for sure
the Fitbit. So even if I'm not hitting the 10,000 steps a day, if I'm making that extra 250, you know, 10 times, that's probably 1,000 steps that I wasn't going to take, that I'd be leaning against the counter, or, you know, leaning against whatever at work. And I'm, you know, doing that. And it's the water. I wasn't drinking any water, and I've made it a point to drink. I have my gallon jug at work, or my 1.5 liters or whatever that is at work. And I'm trying to get through that and drinking green tea at work instead of getting my double, because I drink my coffee beforehand and I don't need it any more caffeine and any more, you know, when I look at 210 calories or 260 calories for a double, I'm like,
yeah.
Like,
drinking your calories seems so pointless to me.
It is. It's one of the biggest. Right? So, hold on, take a second as I take a sip of this Blue Lobster, 175 calories.
That's fine. You've earned it today.
Right? It's drinking the calories that I have to get out of my head, because a green tea, which I really enjoy, which is like water, and I really enjoy it, is so beneficial to you. Why wouldn't I drink that instead?
That detoxing.
Exactly. And it's 0 calories. I can drink the whole thing. It's still that warm beverage in the morning if I want it, and drink that small coffee at home, you know, with my Keurig, and I drink it with the Baileys or the Irish cream, whatever. Not the alcohol one. The creamer. Not if anyone's listening at work, I don't drink at work. It's I can measure my calories, because I'm not adding extra sugar or extra creamer. I'm just measuring it from that. So I found that very easy to track, because I can
you track it for a couple days, then you know, right? Then you have to put it in every day. So it's like, because calorie counting gets so annoying.
And it's one of those things that I just go, this is what I'm drinking. I know it's 100 instead of 260 for drinking the one at Tim Hortons. So I just grab the black coffee or the black tea, and I love it. And, you know, they give you 2 bags, so I can top it up and warm it back up and get enough out of it. So if I can drink that instead of the water or the coffee, I notice a big difference in, you know, retaining water, and just because the salty snacks.
The water's
and all
crazy,
that
and I've been really focusing on that too.
It's crazy how it can make a difference. When people say it doesn't, they're
it's crazy we can't even drink the water at work, because it's, I don't know, black.
What?
Gross.
It comes out of the mop sink.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
That's where I drink all my waters from. I just go to my basin in my basement.
Yeah, perfect.
Where my laundry empties, and drink all the water.
Of concrete and just, oh look, a well, delicious spring water. Just kidding.
Oh, natural.
That's the sewage line. Yeah, no, awesome, and I'm so happy. And as I said, we always are working together, trying to. We've been doing that for years. You've had a little bit more success than me, because I've never put enough focus on it, so that's my fault.
Well, your attitude's changed drastically about it, and I've noticed a big difference. So I'm proud of you that way.
Oh, you're so sweet. So sweet. That's why I've stuck around for 15 years.
Obviously.
But yeah, no, as I said, I missed my weigh in today, so I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then I think I'm looking pretty good for the roommate weight loss challenge.
So do you weigh yourself in at the same time every day? Like the same?
In the morning, yeah.
Okay, good.
Naked, because everything off.
Obviously, because you don't want that 4 or 5 pounds in clothes.
I take a couple poos first. Yeah, I can.
You gotta get it out. You gotta get 8 pounds of poo, 4 pounds of pee, 18 pounds of clothes.
Buzz my head. Exactly. Everything is gone.
You need to do that, and then just
no body hair. It's just
breathe out, because that's a lot.
Yeah. No extra.
Good.
No, I'm just kidding. Every morning I weigh. As I said, I try not to weigh because as I said, the scale says one thing. Like I feel like I'm, we're especially working out. I'm in that weird window where it's like, I haven't worked. My muscles are pretty much atrophied, and they're like, oh, we're working out, so it is a little bit easier to build muscle in these first couple of weeks. So I'm not holding the scale too much accountable. I'm just hoping to beat the roommates and not have to pay for my meal.
Well, that's exactly it. I think you'll notice a big difference. I said, like, if you really increase your water, you're going to notice a difference 100%, because it's the first thing I notice if I start drinking water a lot, that I can flush out that bloating feeling and that feeling of heavy, and that's what I get rid of. And that's why I don't drink a lot of beer. It's not so much that I don't like the taste. It's that I feel so heavy after a couple beers. I can't do it.
I'm just waiting for the water just to wash out all of the McDonald's and Wendy's that I eat consistently, which is a bad
who eats McDonald's besides me today for lunch?
Did you have McDonald's?
It was a McDouble, though.
No,
Does that count?
No.
It's just one, right?
Counts. Well, that's the thing, right? And that's, okay, you got a McDouble. You didn't get,
I didn't grab a combo. I didn't grab the fries
right?
and stuff like that. So I made a point to go, you can have this thing.
Yep.
It's going to, sedate you or whatever you want to call it. I don't know that word. I'm trying to sound smart.
Sedate you?
No, that, like, like where it's, I can't think of the word, where it like makes you sustain.
Sustain.
Thank you.
Wow.
Isn't that what I said?
Yep.
And you're
She's my boss. I have to agree with her.
Right. You're gonna feel full enough, and it's gonna
ties you over to dinner.
Exactly, and you're not gonna sit there and it's not as big, and you can it's 300 versus 510 for a Big Mac and 300 for fries, and then get the Diet Coke.
Yes,
so it's zero. So you're not adding to it. But the thing is, you feel like at least I had that taste, and going, but I was full. You know what I mean? I was okay. I'm like, oh, okay, that's okay. Like. It can make a difference. Like, don't necessarily grab all the size and go, I'm going to need this to be full.
I'm like, oh, well, I can't just eat a medium fry. Like, what if I go back into work and people eat it? Like, they're going to want, so I always get the large fry. And then I play this game at McDonald's called Apple Pie Roulette. And I'm like, so do you guys have any apple pies? And usually it's no, but when they are, I'm like, oh, I got them. I got to take them.
See, I'm glad I hate them. I think they're gross.
They're disgusting, but I love them. So good. All right. So I think we're both doing pretty well. We're on kind of a good path, and we always have each other to support each other. Obviously, we don't see each other as much anymore because of our work schedules, but it's good to see we're kind of sticking to it. And as I said, I think, you said you put a little weight back on, but it's just, we all have, right? And that's
100%.
To kind of remember that you're not in this by yourself. We're all kind of working towards our goals together.
I'm still fitting into the same clothes.
Yes, there you go.
It's maybe a weight gain, but it's not obviously as much as in my head
where
that I feel like
right?
it is,
and you're always so much more critical on yourself. So
100%,
keep that in mind. You're looking fantastic. All the customers are always saying you're looking so much slim and healthy.
Trying to smash.
Obviously.
Obviously.
And so that's awesome. So today I thought it'd be fun to talk about Kevin's, Karen's, and Blockbusters.
Oh, man.
Because as I said, we have been working together for a very long time.
Retail for a very long time,
and I think we're both kind of getting to our end soon, but that's neither here nor there. We're still working retail, and just kind of maybe give a perspective from our side of the counter for people kind of getting back out there with everything opening back up, just kind of bearing with us. Like, for instance, we weren't getting regular shipments. Our store doesn't have a lot of product in it right now. Don't come in, ask for something, and then have a little meltdown when we don't have it right now. We can always order it in for you, or call ahead. Like, oh, I wasted a trip, sir, ma'am. It's called the internet.
Did we call you and say, yeah, we have it, and then you got here and we're like, joke's on you? Exactly,
right? And just like things like that, and especially like for like servers, people going back on the patios, just making sure like they're going to be rusty. You're going to get your food, you're going to get your drinks. Just take that extra breath and just
they may not be used to the volumes.
We've all been dealing with this pandemic, not just you as customers. So just kind of Kevin's and Karen's are kind of a hot topic these days because with everyone not wanting to wear masks and that kind of stuff. And you had a recent experience at work where someone had an absolute meltdown with you, and I wish I was there because it just shouldn't happen. Just people being so disrespectful, being so rude. We have a job to do. We have our policies to enforce, and at the end of the day we have to protect ourselves because I have no idea where these customers have been. I know where you are. I know where
my staff are more important to me than his $50 purchase or his $20 purchase. You guys are more important to me than he could ever be.
Yeah.
So,
and it wasn't and just to kind of, we at our store, if you don't want to wear a mask, then you're not allowed in the store. That's just for us to protect ourselves. We have some immunocompromised people in our lives. We need to protect them. Yep. And it's not like we are denying people service. We have mobile pin pads, so we just go outside.
Deny in-store service. Yes. So you're more than welcome to wait curbside, and we will bring you out anything that we offer at store level at curbside. And he just wasn't having any of that and wanted to film me and call me some choice names, and It was fine. And it was just, I was grateful that we have one of our regular customers in store who escorted him out after he started to hear my voice crack, that I'd sort of been pushed to my limit. And I usually am pretty good with the old Karens and Kevins when they roll in and come in hot. And, you know, as the manager, I get paid a little bit more to kind of deal with that. But he had pushed me to my edge, and
let's just like say
a little bit more.
A PSA to everyone. No one in any business or profession deserves to be yelled at, screamed at. That's just not okay. Like,
by your choice, especially.
You're an adult. Like, we're all adults, or mostly everyone's adults. Even, you know, like, think of that example you're setting for your children. If we have had people yell at me and their kids are in the store, and I'm like, are you for real right now? Like, is this a real thing? Yeah. I love it because
you like a good bro.
I do. I just get it. Yeah, I've had my time. You know, it's too much for me sometimes with people.
For sure.
And you know, we always at our store, we always are going that extra mile. We always are trying to, you know.
Everybody will tell you that our store gives fantastic customer service.
Oh, I need this. Do you have it? And I say, you know, we say no. Usually that's the end of the conversation. We always are like, oh, you can try maybe Staples in town, or we always try to offer that extra kind of step. And people just have come to expect it almost from our location, which is great. And we will take care of people. But it's just like, to me, I've never in my mind wanted to ever yell or scream.
Never.
You know what I mean? And maybe it's because we work it. But...
in my head, those are the people who have never worked a day of customer service in their life. And I think that should be a mandatory thing. Like how the kids are supposed to, like in high school now, do volunteer work. I think that you should have to do 1 year of customer service before you do any other job, because you can always tell. And I feel bad for using the term Kevin and Karen because it's just that it seems so derogatory. Did you know that there was no Karens named in all of Canada in 2020?
My mom's named Karen. R.I.P. She is a Karen though. Karen. So. No, I'm just kidding. I love you.
Well, my son says I can be a Karen sometimes.
Well, but I feel like that's just like, a mom kind of mom 100%. Trait, right?
Sometimes, wanting good customer service when you give good customer service isn't being a Karen. When somebody, you know, comes into your store and they go, I want this, and you're like, we don't have that, and they yell at you. Well, now you're being a Karen, because acting like the associate behind the counter has some sort of control over the way the business runs is absolutely ludicrous. And if you believe that the cashier at Walmart has some sort of control over the price match policy being canceled, you're a crazy person and you should go home and reevaluate your life, because guaranteed you work in some sort of weird business setting that you've never worked in customer service ever, and you just feel the need, I'm gonna go yell at somebody because I am entitled to it. I'm entitled to whatever I want when I want it now.
Well, we had the big issue with curbside, right? We were curbside, and people would come up, and all of Ontario was curbside, right?
All of it, the entire province.
Walmart, they finally shut down everything but food, whatever, right? Pharmacy, but people would come up to the store, and we'd open the door and be like, oh, what, we can't come in? No, sorry, we're only curbside. Well, that's ridiculous.
You're right. Know what's ridiculous? This conversation.
It's been 1 year and 3 months, man.
Well, it was the guy on the bike. I just want to come in and look at TVs. Where are you going to put it? Yeah. You don't have a basket big enough, sir. The smallest TV I have is 32 inches.
Maybe he had a wagon on the side. You don't know.
I wish he'd had a wagon, because then I wouldn't have said anything. But I'm looking at him like, you know what? The burbs, go home.
Yeah. No.
Take your bike and you're wanting a TV to look at it, not even buy it, to look at it. Have a good day.
Curbside pickup, not curbside shopping, as
also,
you like to say.
The internet exists in our time frame.
Yes.
You can't go on our website and go, I'm going to go see what they have and this size of TV and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm just going to go bother somebody with something that I can't physically buy right now anyway.
People were looking, like, and I'm not, I understand where people are coming from, because we've all been in this nightmare for the last 100,
all of us.
But that doesn't give you the excuse to treat people disrespectfully.
I've gotten food wrong. I've never yelled at a staff.
No,
because it's not their fault. If the waitress brings you the wrong food, why do you think that she went back there and prepared it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're yelling at the wrong person. If you want to know when we're opening, talk to the Prime Minister or the Premier.
Yeah.
We have no control. Doug Ford at Ford Nation on Twitter. I can't help you. Why are you yelling at me?
Yes.
And it's just one of those things that the entitlement. Yes. I think this is the big one for me, was the entitlement of customers and the entitlement of people. And I think that Karens and Kevins can be the most entitled people that there are, because they want, it's me. And it's like,
well, we do a lot of cell phones, as I've mentioned before, and we used to always give you that whole solution in the sense that, you get a new phone from us. Okay, well, we'll transfer your contacts, your pictures, and that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we have to protect ourselves. I have no idea where your phone's been. Your phone is probably Your phone is probably one of the most dirtiest things,
the dirtiest, all over it, for sure.
Gross. You're using it when you poo, like, get out of my face.
And if you say you're not, you're lying.
Yeah, you're a liar. Like, were you reading this back of a soap bottle? Like, shut up, like, get out of here.
You pilgrim.
Yeah, you peasant. And it's just, we say now, unfortunately, we can't transfer any contact for you because we have to protect ourselves. Well, what do you mean? It's not like we're not going to tell you how to do it, right? Like, well, you know, Samsung, you use Samsung Smart Switch, you know, Apple, you use iCloud, but it's just, well, that's ridiculous. You did it for me last time. There wasn't a global pandemic last time.
Also,
Karen.
You're not 70, Karen.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, there's nobody alive.
I'm not good with technology. I'm not good with.
I'm not a techie.
Yeah, that's the biggest cop-out ever. You're just lazy, and granted, I'm lazy as shit too. But the first thing I ever do whenever I have any issues, you know, as I said, I built my PC, anything going wrong with my computer, the first thing I do is I go to Google and I put in what my issue is.
Google.
What? Available on all of your technology people, and 9 times out of 10 I can fix it myself. I don't have to worry about it. And when I do need help, I go and I find it.
Or they're like, I'm not as young as all you.
That's fine,
sir. You're 60. You're not 104.
Yeah.
Like, stop acting like the internet hasn't existed for 20 years.
Yeah.
I think that's my problem with people when they say that I'm not techie. We're not asking you to be. We're not asking you to rebuild a PC. I'm not asking you, you know, what's the motherboard and all this crazy weird lingo. I'm asking you to download an app and to sit there and hit yes when I ask you
I don't know how to download an app. Well, Facebook and Instagram and Pornhub are on your phone. How did you get those? Those are out. You know,
that must have been downloaded from someone else.
Yeah,
I don't watch
porn.
Okay,
God.
sir.
Also, the amount of dick pics we see, please. That's why I also don't want to transfer people's stuff anymore.
I have seen more wiener working where we do than I have married for 20 years because it's just, anything in here you don't want me to see, sir?
No.
100%. Sure, no problem. Open up, first pick in the gallery is a dick. You're like, nice. Remember when I asked you that question like 5 seconds ago? Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. I took that this morning.
And then you're
what?
Like, okay, we had to change the question to, is there anything I wouldn't want to see? Well, I don't know if you don't want to see my dick. Okay, have a good day.
Yeah, that's a
have
big,
a good day.
Well, Leslie was on and we talked about dick pics and just no one wants to see that.
Yeah, those are getting sent to her.
Yeah.
Mine are
videos now too. She's wild.
Bleh. It's like, hey, you want to see this?
No.
No, I definitely don't. Well, can you help me?
No.
Nope. I definitely
just like
can't.
push the phone away with a pencil because you're like,
yeah. You open it and it's their wallpaper. You're like, you knew that was on there.
Yeah.
You knew that was your wallpaper because you look at it every time you open your phone. But you felt inclined to go, I bet you she wants to see this, and the answer to that question is
and they kind of think it's funny, and you're just like, this is like, you know.
Yeah, they laugh like it's a joke, like seeing this girl spread eagle where I can see her womb, and you're like, I didn't want to see this, sir. Yeah. He's also 60, and you got to tell his friend.
Yeah.
Tell your friend not to show his pictures to people.
Yeah.
It's rude.
And I and I'm sorry, like you get we do have a lot of an older clientele that comes in because we were old cottage country, that kind of stuff. But no, I'm not talking about you. But you could be, classified there. You are getting up there.
Thanks.
But also it's like, you get these people come in like, working hard or hardly working. It's like, I just give them the death stare. I'm like, is this, like, I'm over that. Like, is this funny to you? Because
if you guys,
I did something so small to be like, honestly, not even upset about it, but you're just like, please
if you guys have TikTok, there's a guy on there TikTok, and he has the best customer service.
The IKEA guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
he has the best videos.
Well, could you take it back? Why? There's nothing there.
Exactly. If you ever have worked customer service, it's the most accurate thing you'll ever see in your whole life, and it's the funniest thing, and I love it so much. Maybe I'll at least send you the link. You can link it to.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's the funniest thing ever. Because it's so accurate.
It's been all over Facebook and everything. Yeah.
He's
working on Thanksgiving, eh? Why do you think I'm? Because you're here. You're like, he's so
just
good.
Like, he's like, yeah, the website says you have some. What do your eyes tell you? And I laugh every time because you hear that like, well, the website says you have 5. I have 0. Well, the website, okay, Avada Kedavra.
Yeah,
I've got
I had
some
a customer
now.
today who my voice says, hi, how are you? My face says, please get out of my life forever. Yeah. So the masks
your voice
are a
kind
great
of says.
thing. Well, sometimes
Your voice
I can usually hold it in a
also.
little bit, but she was like, "Oh well, last time you transferred my contacts," and I was like, "Yeah, there wasn't a global pandemic on that, And you gotta, and I feel like what now." We have a very great, our boss is fantastic. He generally always has our back.
Yep.
And by no means am I going out looking for fights with customers. That's not what I do. That's not what I'm doing. But it's just like, if you're going to give it, then I'm going to give it back to you a little bit and see how it feels, right? And you want to go and write a bad review or contact, go right ahead.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about it, right? Like, it's
100%.
just, you...
understand
you give what you get.
Exactly. Understand, like, that's why I was reading online that they were talking about if you put a mirror behind a counter, that customers are a lot less likely to yell because they can see themselves yelling. And I thought that, like, that is so valid because I can guarantee you if a Karen saw herself pointing your finger and, I bought this 8 months ago and I broke it. Why can't you give me a refund? If they could see themselves behaving that way, then maybe they're a little less inclined to do that because they get it, right? But some things you're just like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I put these in my ears. I wore these underwear. I did this. Why can't I return it? And you go, what? What? And then you ask them, would you use used headphones? And they go, no.
There we go, right?
Wow. Answer to your question. Have a good day. Anything else?
Yeah.
Like,
it's just, as I said, you know, you got to treat people with respect at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you're frustrated, you know, and I find...
Especially somebody who's you want to do something for you.
Yeah. Yeah, like literally we had PS5s are like the be all and end all. Everyone wants PS5. We had some come in. We don't do holds. We have people calling for them almost every day. And this guy goes, oh, I called at 11:10. And I asked someone, they said you had PS5s. And my other associate, Maddie, he goes, well, we don't open till noon, so no one would have been here till minimum 11:30.
Yeah.
So I don't know who you talked to. It wasn't our store, maybe a different store. No, I called this store. Okay, well, so what would you like me to do? Maddie was really good. Well, can you hold me one? No. What do you think's gonna happen?
And we say we don't do holds. Well, somebody told me, okay, that's great.
Twitter
have
doesn't
a good
count.
day.
Sorry.
Well, exactly. Your private message to the chat of somebody who doesn't know where my store is.
In
Nova
London?
Scotia.
Yeah.
And you're like, they may have had
He was just looking for
some
some Blue Lobster, apparently.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking for more Blue Lobster, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's and that's kind of like, and you know, like for me, I've found that being a genuine nice person gets me so much farther than coming in and screaming at you. Like, for instance, I went on a date and it was back when you could last lockdown lifted or
sure.
and you could go. It was still kind of
like
winter.
When we went for our staff
and
dinner,
and you went we went into the place and we got seated. And granted, this was like the second or third day things that opened back up. So people, you know, the serving staff were kind of just getting back into the groove of things.
For sure.
And they forgot about us. Like half an hour went by. And I'm not a very confrontational person to begin with. Like, I like when customers, but like in my real life, you mess up my burger.
That's on the other side of the fence.
You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
I deal with the crap on the other side, so I always just try to be the best. And
because you don't know what happened.
Yes, you don't. And then I kind of went up to the bar, and there was a bartender there, and she was just kind of like on her Apple Watch, like, and I was standing there, and I was like, okay, like, and she's like, what can I do for you? And I'm like, you kind of forgot about us. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. So then it ended up being great. They brought us a bunch of drinks. They comped all of our food. They only made us pay for one drink, which was great, you know, cheap date, but you know, but it was just like, and
that's what you do when you like
they made the mistake, right?
Exactly. Then that's the thing, is from being a Karen to a normal human being, where you demand that you get free things because they made a mistake.
We didn't demand anything,
it's a mistake.
Right? And
people make mistakes, and that's what people need to understand. Just because somebody made a mistake doesn't mean you're entitled to the entire world. Yeah. Like, customer, I want this Apple Watch for this sale price. The girl in the chat told me this. I'm like, well, and I love the whole, I'm going to show you this flyer, and you don't read the entire flyer. You just exclude, you put your finger over the date of that sale. Exactly. So it said it ended on, a certain date. It was 3 days prior. And I was just like, well, my tag doesn't say that. I didn't tell you that. You're more than welcome to call that person back and see if you can get that sale price. I'm not going to honor somebody else's mistake.
No.
Because you said so.
Yeah.
I should have taken a picture of it. I have a picture of it. It says that it expired 3 days ago. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. And all I think of in my head is like, do you hear what you're fighting about? You read something. You chose to ignore something else. I mean, she didn't write it in pen like that one guy did who wanted that sale price. Just write it in pen and pick any date you want so you can get that price. But I'm like, no.
No. Yeah.
No, unfortunately, I didn't make a mistake. I didn't promise you anything. I didn't do anything. I was accurate. You made a mistake, ma'am. I'm not going to give you credit because you made a mistake.
And if you were nice, 3 days. I would have scanned it, checked it, and been like, okay, it's going actually back on sale in a couple weeks. So if you want to buy it for this price and
come back in
bring
30
me a
days,
receipt, I'll give you if not, come back and buy it then, But
maybe I see, are you with this person? Are you with that person to try to get you a discount? Right? But I'm not going to go out of my way for somebody who treats me like I'm lower than them. Or when somebody said to you, oh, some of us have real jobs. Okay.
Have a great day.
Well, guess what? The person with the not real job isn't going to give you a refund that it was 32 days because that 2 days is expired. Sorry, I'm not going out of my way to help you, man.
And as I said, at that restaurant, it was fantastic. The general manager came over and apologized profusely.
Perfect.
And
how you handle it, right?
Now the story isn't, oh, I went out for dinner, and this happened. It's, I went out to dinner, they forgot about us, but they did it was amazing.
So you'll go back there.
I would recommend all my friends to go back there. And also, like, just to touch on something with, obviously you don't have to deal with it anymore because you're dating, but there is nothing worse, not a bigger turnoff, I don't think, besides people with no manners and who are disrespectful to staff. Like, there's nothing that is if
you can't say please and thank you, I have absolutely no respect for you because it's some of the rudest thing. Like, you teach your children very, very young to say please and thank you to you as an adult. Imagine another adult who can't even like, hi, how are you? And they walk by you, I always go, good, thanks, and you?
Yeah.
Like, to let them know how rude they were. Because if I ask you a question that says, hi, how are you? Like, answer me because it's polite.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't even be polite.
Granted, like I'm not on all these dates, and I've been, I haven't had that issue with myself, but I've just seen, a lot of TikTok, that kind of stuff, people, and they kind of like think they're like, this like bad bitch, and it's just like, no, you just have poor
cringe.
manners.
You're
know what
cringe,
I mean? Like,
and you're embarrassing yourself and the people you're with.
If anything ever happens to me, honestly, I will throw my visa down, pay for what we had, and I'll leave, because it's just, if you can't even respect someone, we're gonna respect me. Get out of here, like, you know what I mean? And it's just, and especially, I guess, working, in retail, I've done some serving. It's just, you feel for these people, because they, there's nothing. No one should be made to cry at work, or feel like
feel less than because they're in a retail position or a service position. Like, they feel like they're less than a regular person, like they're not valued, and it's just. You wouldn't be getting food if they weren't there.
No, exactly.
You wouldn't be getting anything if they weren't there. And you're not the only one who went out for dinner that night, so stop acting like it. Stop acting like they should be on you like this. Like, go
they're
away.
not your personal chef. Go hire a personal chef.
Exactly.
Want that, right?
You're not at the fanciest restaurant. You're not at some place in New York, like some high class. You're at the Keg. Yeah. You're at Montana's.
Or you're at McDonald's. These are a bunch of high school kids. Like, I literally...
Is that where you took your date at McDonald's?
Duh.
You so high
No,
class.
I'm just kidding. Like, no, that was a little bit of a higher place. But, no, and it's just like you're in McDonald's a lot, right? Oh, I'm in McDonald's a lot. And you just see these people. And I have no problem being like, are you good? Like, because there's no way... this McDonald's kid, 15-year-old kid who's just trying to make some money to, buy a car, getting screamed at by, oh, you screwed up my McDouble.
I asked for extra sauce, or I asked for no cheese. Like,
get
go
the grease
home.
from your hair, you sick. No, I'm just kidding. That's so rude. But like,
but
it's
go
just like
home, and just sit there and go
like,
scrape off some of the sauce, or go home and take off the cheese, or take off the pickles.
I take off the tomato that
you don't have an allergy to pickles, and if you do, you're some rare anomaly, anyways. But relax.
Yeah, we're not trying to pickle shame here, but
like exactly. But relax. It's not worth treating a child especially poorly.
Like, do you feel better about yourself after that? Like, because honestly, I'd feel so terrible.
Yeah, I got a job where my daughter works because she was getting kind of harassed by a customer who thought it'd be funny to make fun of her eczema. Yikes. And I was like, I want somebody to come and say something to her so I can put my name tag down and go, I don't need this job. I'm here because I'm bored, and just chew this guy out in front of everybody.
Shirt off and just go to the parking lot and beat the crap. No,
100%, and be like, this is not happening today. Clip. I resign.
Nothing like a mama bear protecting her kids.
Well, yeah, because it's like, she's got eczema, and the guy was making fun of her, calling her a crackhead. It's like, how do you, as a man, speak to somebody who looks as small as she is, and look at her and go, I'm going to make fun of this girl because I think it might be funny and my wife will laugh. Know who's not laughing? Anybody. No, you scumbag.
Yeah. No, for sure. So that's our little rant. And as I said, as people are going back to the, the world, and, and I will say this, right? Everyone is just on edge, especially like you see all those videos in the States, like with them allowing all the fans back in the baseball games and the football game, or not football, but basketball games. I haven't seen anything from hockey yet. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not out there, but just getting in fights in the stands and beating each other up. And it's just like,
what's wrong with you?
Like, just
as a person.
Yeah. Like, I understand people haven't really socialized in a year, but just, it's a game. We're all here to enjoy. Like, you have your rivalries.
Punching somebody is illegal.
Yeah.
Not just during a pandemic, all the time.
Like, someone poured a beer on their head and now they're fighting. It's just like, what? Who? Like,
could you imagine even doing that to somebody?
No.
Hi, I don't like you. Drink.
Sorry,
they're like $11.
Fan. Yeah.
Would you put a $10 bill in a loonie on somebody and walk away? You wouldn't. Don't be crazy. I don't know.
So just kind of, in the back of your head, I know most of my listeners, I'm sure, are stand-up people, but just and I think the big thing too is, if you see something happening, say something.
That's what I was just gonna say. Literally, if you see something, say something. Especially if you see somebody belittling somebody. Like, I'm not saying like, if you see somebody who's not wearing a mask and they're just shopping, don't say something to them. Whatever. But if you see somebody berating a cashier or berating somebody like that, just say, man, who do you think's on your side? Is it worth the disrespect? Because I think they think that they've got this army behind them, and if somebody were to say something, they're less likely to do it in the next store they go into, because they get embarrassed pretty quickly when somebody goes, no one's on your side.
And you're not asking to get into like a physical altercation.
I'm just saying,
just say, hey, calm down, like, like,
maybe don't, like,
let them know that what they're doing is not okay. And at the end of the day, you got to think of these people behind the counter, younger sister, younger brother, a kid,
someone's child is getting yelled at for no reason for
just trying to
they're
make
just
some money.
doing their job.
Yeah.
They're just doing their job, and they're doing what is asked of them from somebody higher than them, somebody above their pay grade. And
I mean, they're working at McDonald's. Like, their life is
or
already
they're working.
crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
They're working in a grocery store. Go talk to the manager.
Oh yeah.
If you have a problem, go talk to the manager. Don't belittle the 16-year-old.
We need that purge day for retail, and where you could just not kill anybody. People. I mean. We can talk
It'd
to
be a
them.
hell of a movie.
We can talk to them the way they talk to us, and just the look on people's faces, would be like.
And they wouldn't believe it. That's the thing is they wouldn't believe it, and you'd be like, "That's how you sound."
Yeah.
Imagine I came into your place of work, found you, walked up to your desk, and started yelling at you for something that was beyond your control. You would be "I can't believe this."
8:00 on Black Friday. Oh, why you sold out these door crashers?
Because you weren't here at 8.
It's 8 p.m., sir. Yeah. We were open at 7 a.m. Like,
you came an hour late, and we don't have any, and no, we don't do holds, and no, you're crazy. Bye.
Go away. People have been getting a little bit better. Obviously, that was before the pandemic, so I'm intrigued to see over the next little bit. And as I said, I went out on the patio this weekend, and we had a really great server. And she had even mentioned, I asked, "How's everything going? Like, is things going well?" And she's like, "Oh, everyone's been really, really good. We've been really busy." And I was like, "Thank God," because I'm just so sick of hearing people being just.
I think that people are. I think those Karens are getting a little bit wise because I think they know they're getting filmed.
Everyone's
got a camera in their pocket. Yeah. So unless you want to be on, Karens of Instagram. You're going to check yourself, and I think that you're going to see a lot of the same people on there, like a lot of the same videos over and over again. I think people are getting wise, so...
Just be kind, as
fingers crossed, right?
Ellen DeGeneres once said, but no, she's not very kind, so yikes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be quoting
we won't. We'll take that back. Just be nice to people, and just treat people you want to be treated. Like, absolutely. And I think, as I said, working retail and working those service jobs, you always want to try and, get the best customer service, but you also... understand where people are coming from. As I said, today, at the end of the day, me and you were both absolutely wiped dealing with customers and our head office not understanding anything. And it's just, yes, it's very easy to take that out on the customers. That's why you have to take that extra breath and just go, okay.
Yeah, I don't take it out on customers the way I don't want customers to take it out on me.
Yep,
exactly. It's not your fault that I'm having a bad day. And I always think, you're having a bad day, but maybe that cashier's having a bad day, or maybe something's happened to them that you have no idea about. So maybe take that into consideration, going, I don't know what's going on with them, and just maybe take a breath and go, oh, what, she rang in my tomatoes as oranges and it was more expensive. Just go, you know what? It's not a big deal. I'm going to go talk to customer service and get $1 back. It's not worth your time or the harassment or whatever, right?
Making people feel bad. Yeah. And so I do want to talk about Blockbuster because me and you both worked at Blockbuster. You were my manager.
So good.
I got hired there when I was 18. I was working at the theater. And we were talking about this today. Did we talk about the terrible hours and stuff?
Yeah, it was so funny to me because, okay, I'm going to sit there because Dan was such a great customer that when I was working at Blockbuster, I was so happy when I would see Dan come in because he was always so friendly and so talkative. And I remember saying like, man, do you want to work here? Because
I was like, hell yeah.
Because he was so awesome to deal with as a customer. And there's a 10-year or 9-year age gap? 10-year age gap? What year are you born?
Oh, no.
Sorry, I think there's a 10-year age gap between us. And it was like, I want this guy to work with me because we had such a great team and it was so fun to go to work
and that was the
all
nice
the
thing
time.
About,
yeah.
Said,
and I wanted him to work there, so he applied and I was like, we're hiring this guy.
Well, cause we talked about how we don't understand how it was how
can your best job be 10 to midnight, 365?
I remember going out like when I was younger because I was 18 to 22, 23, and midnight I'd go out after and party, but I didn't mind because especially like 10 to midnight, that's when I usually came in because I would come from the theater, and we'd talk, we'd chat, and go, it was great because we all had that, everyone that worked there had a passion for movies. They loved it. Yeah. I valued you, not so much, Lynn. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? Like, if you said this is a bad movie, I'd be like, oh yeah, okay. I and you make that kind of camaraderie. So when you said, do you want to get work here? I was like, absolutely. And as I said,
I was so sad when they closed because it was my favorite job. And the thing is, it wasn't like the pay was great or the hours were great or like they rewarded you for being, great at your job. It was just such a fun atmosphere and you got to watch movies and get them, for free and you got them early. And we had such a solid team that was just so fun. Yeah. And when we did like the Twilight pre-order and we dressed up and, it was funny, but I mean, like, what other job do you have where the company that makes the movie comes to your store and they give you swag and they think it's great because we pre-ordered more copies of Twilight than any other Blockbuster in Canada. Yes. That was, as lame as that sounds, it was huge. Yeah. We made a fork sign. We had photo booths. Like, and we dressed up, and it was so fun. And I wouldn't normally do that.
No.
Wouldn't sit there and
But you get those people around you who are the same kind of mindset.
And it was so fun.
And our store did fantastic. We had that Halo thing because we pre-ordered the most Halos. I don't know. They love their Blockbuster, and I'll never forget.
They were loyal to our store. Yes. Like, we had a huge, but we gave them great customer service.
We always would, we'd give people. I
don't call Blockbuster for the first few years. I still get that. It's like, where do I know you from? And it's either our current place or or Blockbuster. And it was one like, oh my God, I loved it. And it was just like, hey, Blockbuster. And there was a guy, Zares. Hey, Blockbuster. Hey, Zares. And that was what we called each other because we knew each other from those businesses. And God, I loved it so much because it was just so fun. And that you would recommend, like, people would grab the crappiest movie, like worst. The Happening. I don't care if anybody out there likes it. You're stupid. But they would grab it and we would just put it behind us on the shelf. Like, was there anything else you were looking for? Like, so you've got 3 here. Is 3 enough? And they'd be like, no, I want that one.
No.
You really don't. Because it was just such a pile of crap. And we would all be laughing with each other, like, how many the Happening movies we'd have at the end of the night that we would take off the shelf.
Well, me and you were one of the better sellers, right? So when we were working together,
obviously.
It was always, we had to sell these rewards packs, which whatever, they had their value.
Yeah, I think exactly.
But we would just kind of be going back and forth with each other, and it was honestly, and it's so crazy because I think about it now because we work where you do get you get commission, that kind of stuff. We weren't getting paid anything extra, but it was just we wanted to do good because we just loved the job so much.
Yeah,
and now
we like to outdo each other. Yes. We like to sit there and walk over and be like, oh, you have 5? Oh, that's cute. Add 3 more. We have 8. And then he would try to get 3 more so that he could tie me or beat me. And it was such a great, fun thing to do.
And I cared. Not that I don't care about my job now, but
of course not. It's not a difference of caring. It's just how the difference in jobs, they couldn't be more different, right? So it was just like when you're interested in movies and you like video games or whatever, it was such a fun atmosphere that you got movies playing in the background and, the Rent trailer would play and we'd all collectively be like, oh, and everybody would laugh.
Except Joel would be over there just singing.
Or exactly. You would just laugh at something together collectively as a team, and you all equally hated that part of the trailer as a team, and it was just such a fun.
You were a manager, so you and Jacqueline were great. We had Carol was fantastic.
100%. Like she always had our back with customers being rude. I don't have any ID.
Pop up.
I rent here all the time. You're like, where did you come from? You're not even working today. Yes. And she'd pop up and say, like, you don't get to do this. You don't get to talk to my staff that way. Nobody here stealing your movies. Like,
and she had like a little bit of a French accent, and it always flared up when she was yelling, and it was great.
You'd hear the cuss words come out.
Yeah, she was just great, and it was just it was just fun, and I'll never forget the panic / excitement of a Friday night working and it being rainy, because it was
like chaos. Don't know what, like, imagine like you guys, we would rent there and we'd be waiting for a movie. You don't know what's like behind the till when we'd be like, do you have any of this movie in? No. Can you look? No, I just looked.
You open the returns and it's like flowing out.
Bats would fly out.
Like, just movies everywhere. So
were you looking for this copy of Space Jam? Is that what you were looking for? No. Oh, you were looking for this. Okay, my mistake.
It was great, and the 10 free rentals were fantastic because we got them a week early, so we were able to. And they would want you to watch the movie so you could give a honest review of them.
Exactly.
And we got games when those games started.
And we started our the pics of the employees, and we put our names on them, and then everybody would it was a really good way to drive business, and we would write our names on the back of like the old paperwork and be like, Lindsay's pick, Dan's pick, and people would be like, oh, I don't respect your pick because you liked Machete. Didn't guarantee you'd like it. I just thought it was
just a recommendation, and it kind of showed everyone. You're like those customers that you would, the lifers we had. They'd come in every Tuesday when the new releases launched.
Yep.
You guys saw them more. I was just kind of
100%. Yeah, they'd be there,
and you would get to know each other, and they would get to know you through your.
You would know that you would need their card. You would know their card. You're like, here. Dude, I think you'd like this movie, or I think you'd really like this.
I put this aside for you because I knew you're gonna, and they just
the level of appreciation. We'd get Tim's gift cards all the time. That people would buy us coffees. They'd bring us, I remember when we closed, one of our regular customers, Dave, and he was so nice, and he brought us a cake that him and his son made because his son was devastated that we closed, and it said, "We're gonna miss you." And I cried because it was just. He didn't know me. No. He didn't know us personally. No. His son and him were sad that we were closing, and they knew that we were losing our jobs, and we were getting a really hard time. He brought us a cake and says, "We'll miss you." And we ate it at work, and people were like, "Oh, you're eating while you're working? That's unprofessional." Like, well, I lost my job, so I don't care. And I ate it.
And like, by no means, it was a little bit of a slap in the face how they did us.
100%. They did us wrong when they closed.
It was like Monday they were telling us everything's fine, and then Wednesday was like, "Oh yeah, close your doors."
It was Tuesday at 5. Oh no, so it was Wednesday at 5 o'clock. or 2 o'clock, you're okay. 5 o'clock, you're closed tomorrow. Yeah. Start selling everything off. So it was a real kick in the dick.
So, especially, Lindsay, you guys worked there for a while. So we definitely
I think just over almost 7 years.
Took a few things, and like no one told me, because I was just like, I was at school, so I'd come home every once in a while, and like there was like a blind spot in the camera in the back room, so I had like my creative things that I wanted to keep till things dropped in price and I was going to buy them. And here I am like stuffing it in.
It was so funny.
Stuffing it all into the recycling.
People coming
meanwhile,
in,
you guys up front there just putting your fingers. Oh, so
people,
it was a great.
People were coming in like, do you have any copies of this? Yeah, they're in a hold box for the staff. That's not fair. I want it. Yeah, well, I'm waiting for it to drop to 99 cents because it's Christmas time because we closed in October.
Yeah, your kids had a great Christmas.
Yeah, my kids had the best Christmas because I spent like $400 on like 99-cent DVDs and games and Blu-rays because we held them all. I had like 4 crates full. You think I cared? Yeah. Absolutely not. And it was like, my customer service went out the window when they closed our door and people were demanding that we give them better deals on. I'm like, we're closing our door. Have some compassion. Good luck. Yeah. Have some compassion for a company that went bankrupt and they fired all their employees. And you think I care about giving you better service? I don't have a job on Monday, dick. Like, get out of here.
It was definitely sad, and as to this day,
we held on till the end. We were there right till the end. Like last day, locked the door.
But that's just our age group. I would never just not show up because we're and whatever, right? It is what it is. But to this day, I've had obviously a few jobs. I tend to stay in that one plaza.
Me too.
I worked at the beer store and the most busiest. Again, great staff. Terrible job. Great staff to work with. And then we're where we are now, and it's okay, but it's just. It's not the same, and nothing ever can compare to Blockbuster.
No, it can't. I think that Blockbuster set a high bar when it came to that because the team was so fantastic. And it's not that our team right now is not fantastic. It's just smaller, but it was just, you can't do the same things. Like we can't put on like at, because we're closed at 10, put on Dave Chappelle stand up and pause it, or we'd play a game called who can put on the dirtiest scene on the, on the screens. And so that when the morning staff would come in, they'd be like, oh my God, what is that? And you're like, that's Any Given Sunday. That's some guy's wiener. And we'd be laughing, thinking that they'd walk in and notice it, and we'd laugh, and it would be like these funny little practical jokes. And
remember, like we'd be sitting there, like we had a Subway across there, so we'd always go for a break, and we would just be so busy, I'd be sitting on a stool. Eating like a madman, and then back out on the floor, like onion breath, probably.
Like, well, yeah, like you just be like sitting there because you wanted to help out your team. You didn't want to sit there and go, I don't care, I'm going to eat my lunch and take my time. You wanted to get it back out there because everybody wanted to work there. We had resumes like crazy. Everybody wanted to be part of our team because we always made it look like such a fun time because it wasn't fake. It was. I enjoyed being at work.
We loved it.
4 to midnight, I'd be there, or an inventory, you'd be there till 4 a.m, and it didn't matter because we'd put on music and just blast it, and we would just.
And everyone just got along. Everyone had their
such a good time.
Place. It was fantastic.
I loved it so much.
And I don't think anything is ever gonna come back to that. And I'm happy I got to experience it. It was
and I'm happy that you took the job because we wouldn't be where we are now. And I'm glad to have you.
Well,
in my life.
No, I just have followed you. Well, you've called me, and I've.
That's true. I was just like, I need to keep everybody who I liked a lot. They need to come over here with me because.
And I appreciate that because, and I'm still, I'm at the job now that we work together now. So, and it's great. And as I said, we become friends. I know your husband, watch your kids grow up. So it's great how.
Well, it's a long time, like 15 years plus is a long time, especially when I had small kids or then, they were 5. They were 5 and 3 and now they're 20 and almost 18. Like that is a crazy age.
Like we went to watch Wizarding World of Harry Potter together.
Yeah,
me, you and your kids. Like
that's so funny. And everybody's like, oh, that's such a, but.
It wasn't weird because
my husband had no interest.
I wasn't trying to smash. I just want to go to Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Right? Exactly. And everybody's like, that's so weird. Why? Because my husband has absolutely no desire to see the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and I have somebody who can help me drive, can help me make sure my kids stay safe, and make me feel comfortable being in a place I've never been before. And it was awesome. It was inexpensive, and we had the best time with a fellow nerd. And it was like somebody who can appreciate it and not go, what's this? What's that?
Yeah.
You don't get it.
No, it was great. And as I said, Blockbuster to me will always have a special place in my heart.
I want to watch that last Blockbuster on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet. I want to watch it.
I was going to kind of wrap it up with that because I started watching it, and I'm not going to lie. I didn't know that VHS back in the 80s when it first started was like $100. I thought that was crazy.
My brother lost 2, and he had to pay like $230 too.
So that was wild.
In replacement fees.
Obviously, I started just when DVDs were there, so the Be Kind Rewind I was not there for, which sounds like a nightmare to begin with.
No, that was as I was coming in. It was leaving.
Perfect. So I did start watching it, and honestly, I had to turn it off because it was just. I got a little sad.
Hit you in the feels.
Yeah, and you don't expect that, and so I think that's kind of a good spot to kind of wrap it up. But Blockbuster was just, I mean, I'm sure if you went consistently to a Blockbuster, you would feel the same way. Like,
yeah, for sure. I don't think anybody hated their job at Blockbuster. I think anybody who worked there
really enjoyed
probably
it.
really liked it. I mean, there's a reason why that one is still kind of running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That one's got it's kind of going because people love it.
Yeah.
I think a video rental place would still be successful because we saw people coming in going, I miss somebody telling me something shitty. I miss the picking this and that and grabbing your snacks and just the atmosphere of being in a video store. And I feel sad that there are kids out there who will never ever get to experience that nostalgia and that just that small little interaction that was, let's go wait in line at the movie store and rent these movies and go home and, ooh, which one do you want to watch first? It was just such a cool thing.
As a kid, I grew up with Blockbuster too, so that was the big thing, right? You know, Friday, Saturday, okay, beg your parents, please, can we go to Blockbuster? And you'd go, and then as you got older, you'd go with your friends, and it was like almost ingrained in you, right? And being in a small town, we didn't have much to do, so that was kind of our lives. And again, I'm just a super nerd, and I love it.
Again, it was a place. I think again, like last week, it was a place where nerds can come in and grab what they want, and the person behind the counter wasn't going to judge you because they didn't care enough to sit there and go, oh, you're getting this, or you're getting this anime, or you're getting this. Oh, that's awesome. Good for you. Did you want to grab another one? They're 2 for whatever. Yeah. And you were like, I'm going to rent this and it's mine and I'm going to go and watch it and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to keep it for a week.
Asked them, oh, how did you like it? Right. So it was fantastic and I miss it and I wish it still stuck around, but alas, here we are. Blockbuster-less.
Shake my fist at Netflix.
But yes, exactly. I do very much appreciate you coming and talking.
I appreciate you having me. I think it was good times.
Yes, and I'm so happy and thankful that you guys consistently listen each week. So I thank you and the fam too. Other than that, let me know. Were you a avid Blockbuster goer? Send me a DM. Email me at lazypieceofsh.t@gmail.com. Follow the Instagram page. I'm going to try and get a little more active with that. Letting you know kind of what I'm doing every day, seeing what I'm trying to do to get fit. So you can always check that out at lazy.pieceofsht, or it'll be linked in the Podbean app, where you can check my podcast out at. And then also I was obviously accepted onto Apple Podcasts recently, so that was a big win for me. Having some trouble finding the podcast, so if you do want to just search Lazy POS, it comes up right away, or just Lazy Piece. For some reason, when you put in the Lazy Piece of S, hashtag, it doesn't come up for some reason. I've emailed them; they'll get back to me. If not, Spotify works, and as always, I have a link in my bio on my Instagram. You can get there. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed our, great rambling of Blockbuster and tales of the retail worker, if you will. So hopefully you can take something from it, and maybe just, next time you might be getting a little upset hot under the collar in a retail store or out on a patio, just take a breath. It's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Just be nice to people in retail.
Yes,
just please be nice to people in retail. You don't know what they're going through. They could be going through something, and just remember they're people too.
Yes, exactly. So thank you all for hanging out. We've gone very long, an hour and 17. We are two chatty Cathy's.
I always like to be your long one, Dan.
Oh, wink. Gosh, here we go. But other than that, I thank you all for listening. I can't wait for you to listen, and hopefully see you guys again next week. Stay safe, and of course, stay wild, my friends.